We all know to plan our day, plan our week, and even our month, but there's strategy behind planning your year that a lot of agents are not factoring in. Okay, there's seasons to life insurance telesales. What I mean by that is there's going to be times of the year where your contact rates will be higher and your sales of contacts made will also be higher. And there's going to be, times of the year where it's going to be lower. So it all depends on the type of insurance that you sell and the type of lead that you take. And we're going to go through those in this video. Now, right now we're going into summer and I keep hearing from agencies that, hey, it's the summer slowdown. I hear it from some of our competitors. I just read it just on social media, which is what influenced this video. And first of all, I'm calling BS on a summer slowdown, okay? Now, the reason that they call it a summer slowdown, you'll hear agencies talk about it, is because sales are down. And it's true, sales are down, and sales are down here at Digital BGA as well during the summer, but it's not because people are not there picking up their phones or buying insurance, okay? That is not the reason at all. We see the same results as the other times of the year as far as contact rates and as far as sales of those contact rates. What those agencies are referring to is total sales, because agents take vacations. A lot of agents take vacations during the summer. Kids are out of school. There's a lot more going on in the summer. So you have these couple months of what we call a summer slowdown, which is BS, because if you're working just as hard as you were during the spring and winter, you're going to be just fine. You won't really even notice it, okay? So don't pay any attention to that, first of all, okay? So let me go over the hot times of life insurance telesales to sell. These are the times where you should be maximizing your effort, okay? During this time, you should not be working on processes for your business. Save that for outside of this time period. And, if you can help it, I know it's tough because it does fall through a holiday. Try not to travel as much through those times because, it's go time. This is where you stack your bank account. This is where, you're going to see higher contacts made. You're going to see higher sales of those contacts made as well. And those are the two indicators that we're looking at, by the way, to come up with this data, because sales made doesn't matter, because you can have a bunch of agents working in a month and that could inflate your, inflate your numbers that month, or a bunch of agents not working and that could bring sales down or something along those lines, right? But what's constant is contact rate that we can see. And again, that's an edge that Digital BG has. We can see the contact rates of the leads we generate. We can see the contact rate and then sales of those contacts made. Those are two very important indicators for us. So taking those two indicators, December 1st to March 31st is the best time to sell life insurance, just in general. Over time, over the past 5 years that we've been tracking this, we can see that contact rates have been increased and also sales of those contacts made are increased. Okay? Now, it's not wildly, more, but it is, it will, if you're working the same amount of leads, doing the same amount of activity, you're just going to make more money. You just will, right? And a lot of agents make the mistake in December of slowing down because of the holidays, right? But December 1st, all through December, especially the week between Christmas and New Year's, oh my God, you guys, it is such a good time to sell based on the numbers that we see. Those two indicators, right? Contacts made and sales of those contacts made. Now, we don't say sales of leads because a lot of agents aren't calling their leads during that time. That's not a good indicator. The agents that are calling them, we can do sales of contacts made and contacts made, okay? Anyway, now make sure that you are planning your year around that. So I know that we all have families and, you want to go away for Christmas, New Year's, completely fine. But I'm just making you aware it's a great time to sell. Maybe that'll affect your decision-making. Maybe it won't. And of course, it will be slow Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. You don't call, and New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, even though I know some agents that call and do well. We haven't seen the data that backs it up yet. So all that to say is, I'm not saying that after March 31st, so I guess April to November is bad. That's just normal, right? That's just normal. You'll do fine. But during those other times of the year, from December 1st to March 31st, it's really good. And especially fully underwritten term life insurance agents. Guys, Q4, I would say the last 2 months actually of the year, it's high risk life insurance season, right? carriers are going to push approvals through. They're going to get a lot more aggressive on their underwriting, and they'll make a lot more aggressive offers. And we call that high-risk life insurance season in the agency. So anyway, if you write fully underwritten term life insurance, know that those are the best times to sell during the year. And I'm sure a lot of you guys that sell will back me up on this, because I know a lot of you get excited about that time of the year as well. Okay, so with that said, it also depends on what type of lead you work. Okay, so I'm going to go through TV call-ins. I'm going to go through live transfers and pre-qualified callbacks, and I go through Facebook leads. Those seem to be the majority of the leads being worked out there in telesales land, okay? So TV call-ins. Number one, AEP, terrible. October 15th to December 7th, annual open enrollment for Medicare. We're competing with the ad spends in the same demographic, and our costs just increase a lot. And also there's just less space to advertise on. Like, we just can't get the slots that we used to before. So not only that, our frequency of ads shown just goes down, because we're not willing to pay a lot of the cost to compete with the Medicare agencies. So with that said, if you're in TV calls, plan for that right now. Guys, it is July. In about 3 months or so, 3.5 months or so, you are going to be in a very slow season, right? You're making it rain right now, but it's going to be tough for those 7 weeks. So plan for that, okay? Make sure you're building up reserves, or maybe you want to get into ACA or Medicare, because open enrollment for both of those are during that time. Start planning for that. Take the certifications down, go for it. Or maybe during that time, you're going to plan a trip. Cool. And you could still make a lot of money during that time. Don't get me wrong. Work your book of business. You can take other sorts of life insurance leads if you want. But just know that during that time, the prices are going to increase substantially. Or you might not even have TV call-ins at all, okay? So just be aware of that. You need to plan for that, especially if your income relies on that. That is something you need to keep in the back of your mind and prepare for right now, right? And there's also other times during the year where it's slow. We share those internally, and we just came through one of those recently. Right now, it's really good. And, but you have to plan for that if you're a TV call-in agent. Another thing to plan for is around elections. So elections, it's also bad. And we had a double whammy last year, last open enrollment 2022, where it was elections and open enrollment at the same time, which killed us. But we made it work. And anyway, it's something you need to plan for moving forward during election cycles as well. So that's TV call-ins. You also have live transfers and pre-qualified callbacks. So, and I'm talking about overseas live transfers and pre-qualified callbacks. You have to plan around their holidays. So, for example, last week was a Pakistani EID holiday. And if you have a Pakistani call center, you didn't receive calls Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday last week. A lot of agents out there are probably like, where are my leads? Why is it so slow? You got to plan for that. So ask your third-party overseas call center, if you take those live transfers or callbacks, first of all, what country they're generating these in, and then if they have a schedule of when those calls are, when those holidays are where they're not going to be generating leads. That's important to understand so you can plan for it, okay? Because if I were taking a vacation and I relied on those leads, I would have taken a vacation that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of this last week, Saturday, Sunday, and the long weekend through 4th of July. Perfect time for a vacation, right? So if you can see that in advance for a year, you can plan around it, okay? You'll earn more money just by making these strategic decisions. Does that make sense? So you also have to think about another big overseas call center is in the Philippines. Philippines are notorious for weather events, for typhoons, and they will get knocked out for days or even a week or so of internet or electricity during those times. You just have to be prepared. You have to monitor, if your income is dependent on those, you need to monitor that stuff. Now, I am going to preface this by saying Digital BJ does not agree with third-party overseas live transfers or pre-qualified callbacks. We've said it in videos before, but for those of you who are watching, haven't watched one of those videos, the reason is they're all calling on the same data. If you get a transfer, and you may be doing well in those transfers, you may be closing 25, 33% of them, but your persistency, you're going to be in chargeback hell pretty soon, because what they're doing is they're transferring that again a couple days later, then again, and again, right? And then that data isn't just going to that call center. That data is going to other call centers as well, and they're also calling on them. So that person is going to be transferred over and over and over, and the persistency is just terrible on those. So it may be good right now, but if you're taking them and you're like, Jeff, you're full of that, you're full of crap, then just wait 6 to 12 months of doing this. You'll see. All right, and then so the next thing is Facebook. So Facebook, if you're running your own Facebook ads, first of all, you need to be dialing at least $200 to $300 a day to make that work. Contact rates on Facebook, I mean, that is the most saturated thing you can do. Yes, you can generate leads cheap, but you're gonna have to dial $200 to $300 a day. With all that said, if you're generating your own Facebook leads, be careful of natural disasters. If you're advertising in the Gulf Coast and the hurricane comes through, make sure you turn off those ads during that time. Your cost per lead is going to go up. Your contact rate is going to be pretty much non-existent on those leads as well during that time. And there's also a lot of government orders where you're not even allowed to call people. You're not even allowed to solicit during natural disasters, or else you can face a TCPA fine. A lot of agencies aren't aware that we don't allow calls to go out during those in our system at Digital BGA. We protect our agents in that way when we receive those notices. But a lot of agents are still calling in those areas where they could receive a fine if somebody makes a complaint. Something to think about there, okay? So you have that for Facebook leads is, that, and, any sort of political event, even elections, like you'll see some interesting stuff happen with your leads there. Now, look, guys, I'm telling you all of this because I don't want to scare you guys from not working. Like, don't make this an excuse not to work these next few summer months or so, because like I said, the summer slowdown is BS. It's just the nature of agents taking vacations and agencies seeing their sales slow. Again, we can see the data. We can see that contact rates hold steady over this time. It's just better from December 1st to March 31st. It always has been, and I think it always will be. I don't understand why. A lot of you might comment on YouTube and ask why. I have no idea. I don't know why. That's just how it is. So really take a moment to plan your year, okay? Right now, it's July. It's the start of summer. Don't let the voices from social media or other agencies tell you that it's going to be slow. It's not, all right? If you're taking TV calls, make sure that you work as much as you can up until October, because you're going to have 7 weeks where it's going to be very slow. Come up with a plan right now of what you're going to do. If you want to take a shot at Medicare or ACA, get those certifications now. If you want to start working on your business and put together some sort of referral system, wait until that time to do it. Don't do it right now. If it's going to take some time out of your day of selling, sell during the good times and wait, okay? If you're taking pre-qualified callbacks or live transfers, again, be careful, but also plan around the holidays of those, of where those overseas call centers are located. And, by doing that, you will make more money just by strategically selling, by knowing when you can and not when you can and can't take vacations, but when the optimal times to take vacations are, right? And I will say this, a lot of agents stop working during, holidays. And a great example is right now, okay? 4th of July was yesterday, but a lot of agents, and yesterday was Tuesday, but a lot of agents took Monday off and didn't sell. And Monday was a great day for contact rates and sales of those contacts made. People are home for the most part, and it was a great day for those who were on the phones. Now, there's other instances where, between Christmas and New Year, that's also a great time to sell. But again, a lot of agents take that time off for family, and that's great. And you should. If it's more important to you, you had a great year and you can afford to do that, great. But if you're struggling during that time, guys, it is a great time to sell. Plan to sell. So, if you're making plans for the holidays, cool, make your plans, Christmas Eve, Christmas. But if you want to really, really, start the year off strong, the next year off strong, plan to sell during that week and plan some time to make some calls during that time. Same thing when I always say making calls on weekends, on Saturdays, all right? Plan to sell one Saturday a month at least. The more Saturdays you can sell, the more profitable you'll be. I will stand on that pedestal until, I'm kicked out of this industry because I just see the data behind it. The agents who make calls on Saturdays, if you can plan that throughout your year, right? Figure out the Saturdays that you want to make calls on and do that. You will be more profitable. Higher contacts made, higher sales rate of those contacts made on Saturdays as well. All that to say, make sure you plan your year strategically based on the type of insurance you sell and the type of leads that you work. Okay? You will be more profitable, and I hope this helps some of you.